75 years ago, a small group of believers gathered in a humble chapel on Fargo's north side. They came with hope in their hearts and faith in God's promise, ready to plant a new congregation where none had been before. They could not have imagined all that God would do through their offerings of time, talent, and trust. Today, we tell the story of where we began and how we've grown, and why, after all these years, the faith of a few is still a blessing for many. The seeds of Messiah were planted during the Great Depression. In the 1930s, as economic hardship swept across North Dakota, thousands of families moved off the land and into cities like Fargo. In 1932, the Lutheran Inner Mission conducted a survey and discovered that many North Side children weren't attending Sunday school, due in part to the fact that the churches were almost exclusively located downtown. In response, a small outreach effort began. 2 heated rooms above a grocery store at 13th Street, now University Drive, and 15th Avenue North were rented for classes. On October 30th, 1932, the new Sunday school opened with 24 children. Classes moved often, including to exhibition buildings at the old fairgrounds, which at that time marked Fargo's northern edge. With no heat in the buildings, winters meant no sessions. Still, the ministry endured, and its faithful leaders dreamed of something more. This mission was made possible through the steady support of a downtown congregation, Elam Lutheran Church. In 1936, Elam's pastor, Reverend O.E. Clausen, brought the Sunday school's needs of a suitable location to the Red River Valley Conference of the Augustana Lutheran Church body. Soon, land near the fairgrounds was donated, and a small chapel was constructed at 10th Street and 16th Avenue North. This North Side Chapel became the home of the Sunday school and a growing community of faith. Through the 1940s, leadership of the Sunday school passed through many faithful hands, and support continued from Elam's clergy and congregation. As Fargo's North Side developed after World War II, the chapel began to overflow with children, energy, and possibility. In 1948, Elam petitioned the Lutheran Church's Board of Missions to survey the area again, now for a potential new congregation. The response was positive, and Board of Missions intern Hugo Anderson was appointed as field worker. The first worship service was held on June 5, 1949. On January 8, 1950, Messiah Evangelical Lutheran Church of Fargo was officially organized. By spring, the Red River Valley Conference granted the church its charter. 57 adult members and 43 children were on the first membership roll. But the North Side Chapel, at just 1,000 square feet, was already too small for the budding church's growing needs. The Board of Missions purchased land at 5th Street and 16th Avenue North, and newly ordained minister Vernon Johnson was called to serve as Messiah's first pastor. On the day of his installation, August 3, 1950, ground was broken for a new church building. Once the basement was complete, the first worship service was held at the new church location on February 4, 1951. The basement, accessible by an enclosed stairwell, was utilized by the congregation for worship and activities until the upper portion was completed. Though there were periods of time when construction was halted or it seemed like it would never be completed, the people of Messiah pressed on. The building was constructed largely by the members themselves, donating over 5,000 hours of labor. They sawed, hammered, painted, and served coffee, building not just a church, but a community. It was a true labor of love, where every nail driven and every brushstroke carried with it the faith and hope of a people determined to see God's house rise from the ground. These moments, captured in the faces and hands of ordinary men, women, and children, remind us that the foundation of Messiah was not only brick and mortar, but the spirit of those who built it together. The cornerstone was laid on June 24, 1951, and at that time, Elam presented Messiah a check for $1,000 as a gift toward the building of the new church. The fruits of the congregation's labor came to fruition when the sanctuary was completed in April 1952 and formally dedicated at a joyous worship service the following September. Membership at this time was just over 200 people. Throughout the 1950s, Fargo's north side expanded, and Messiah grew with it. Northport Shopping Center opened its doors, entire blocks of houses rose, and with them came families filling Messiah's pews. However, space began to run out. Sunday school was being held in the church basement, the parsonage, and later in rented classrooms at Washington Elementary School. Space was tight. A building expansion was considered, but the congregation began to dream of something larger. By 1959, the congregation voted to sell its building and explore constructing a brand new facility elsewhere. Pastor Johnson had accepted another call, and Pastor Drell Bernardson now led the growing church. In just 10 years, Messiah had grown from an outreach Sunday school into a thriving, self-supporting congregation alive with activity and growing. In 1961, land was purchased at Elzago Park for a new church building site. That same year, Messiah called its next pastor, 29-year-old Harry E. Olson Jr. Upon arrival, Pastor Olson quickly realized that the Elzago property lacked room to grow. It was dangerously close to the Red River and was surrounded by established homes instead of new development. Driving farther north, he noticed several parcels of land between 19th and 21st Avenues across from the VA hospital. He proposed to the church council purchasing these lots as an alternative site for the new facility. It was a huge risk and was met with hesitancy. The congregation already owed over $70,000 on the Elzago parcel of land, the old church building, and the parsonage, nearly $750,000 today. But Pastor Olson promised the people that if they committed to the project, he would see them through until the end. With slogans like "No time to tarry, push ahead with Harry," and "Messiah on the move," the campaign took off. Once negotiations were reached with surrounding homeowners, architectural plans were drawn, and groundbreaking took place at Elm Street and 21st Avenue North on March 31st, 1963. Construction began shortly thereafter, continuing through the summer and into the fall. The cornerstone, which today can be seen in the upstairs Fellowship Hall, was laid on October 20th. From blueprints to reality, in just 1 year, our present Messiah Church building was dedicated on January 12, 1964. The new church, boasting a bold modern design with an arc-shaped sanctuary, 2-story educational wing, and even a gym serving as a fellowship hall, was built to serve a growing city and a growing mission. Pastor Olson's recommendation to build a church in a new and developing neighborhood proved to be fruitful. Membership jumped from just over 600 people in 1961 to over 1,200 by 1965. The $280,000 project was a leap of faith, but one that paid off. As the church grew into its new home, it was about to embark on a journey that continues to this day, shaping our congregation in numerous ways. WDAY TV station executives met with Pastor Olson about the possibility of broadcasting Messiah's services alongside an already broadcast Catholic Mass. Though the $10,000 startup cost was staggering, Pastor Olson secured funding from local organizations and a 13-week contract was signed. On February 5, 1967, the Messiah Lutheran Hour debuted live at 11 a.m. Today known as the Hour of Worship, this ministry has brought a traditional Lutheran worship service to thousands across North Dakota and into surrounding states and Canadian provinces. For rural viewers, shut-ins, hospital and nursing home patients, or anyone else seeking Sunday morning worship, it has been a gift for nearly 6 decades. Many have known Messiah as the Church on TV, and while we give thanks for this opportunity to spread the good news of Jesus Christ, we also acknowledge that Messiah Lutheran is a community of faith of its own, a congregation rich in tradition and shared history, not seen by the television viewers. Messiah continued to flourish in the 1970s as North Fargo neighborhoods continued growing. The church added pastoral and parish staff and expanded programming to serve young families. The Messiah Lutheran Church women launched the Messiah Nursery School, and the congregation began expanding social ministry and evangelism efforts in the community, partnering with other local churches to establish the Emergency Food Pantry and Churches United for the Homeless. As the community and world changed, Messiah too evolved in ministry and mission. Messiah celebrated the burning of its mortgage and undertook much-needed renovations in the 1980s, made possible not only by the congregation's financial gifts, but also by the hands-on talents of its members. Much like in the church's earliest days, many stepped forward to do the work themselves, embodying a spirit of stewardship and commitment. Throughout the decade, the congregation also experienced seasons of pastoral transition and engaged in thoughtful realignment of its mission, especially as it became part of a newly formed Evangelical Lutheran Church in America in 1988. At the same time, the surrounding Northside neighborhood was changing as a new generation of families settled in and began to make Messiah their home. In the 1990s, Messiah Sanctuary was revitalized with a tiled chancel, new altar furnishings, and the installation of an exquisite old camp pipe organ. Rising 2 stories with more than 1,000 pipes, the instrument quickly became not only a striking centerpiece in the sanctuary, but also the beating heart of hymn singing and worship. With a renewed stability and lay-led ministry, Messiah entered a period of flourishing. Youth, music, and educational programs thrived as new families joined the congregation, filling classrooms, choirs, and fellowship halls with fresh energy. This era of growth and vitality soon led the congregation to discern its future needs, ultimately deciding to embark on a major renovation and expansion to best serve its people and continue its mission as a messenger of God's grace. Groundbreaking for the roughly $2.3 million project was held in June of 2000. Despite the church being in a state of disarray, Messiah celebrated its 50th anniversary the following October. Messiah Senior Pastor Harry E. Olson Jr., who saw the congregation through its construction of our current facility, offered this message.
One of the things about Messiah Lutheran Church in Fargo, North Dakota, is that it is not just a beautiful cathedral without content. It is a ministry and a mission with purpose. And you folks today, and those who have been a part of this great congregation for the last 50 years, have made a statement that we're here, and we're not sold out, and we're not empty, and we're not meaningless, but we have a destiny. And so this morning, on this occasion, we come to understand that dreams and visions do become reality.
The project, which was dedicated in May 2001, included a 2-story education wing with classrooms and youth rooms, as well as a new upstairs fellowship hall adorned with a brick mural depicting the life of Jesus Christ. It also encompassed expansive remodeling throughout the church, bringing the mid-century building into the new millennium. The 2000s brought other aesthetic and sacred upgrades to the church. 5 stained glass windows in the narthex given in memory of loved ones and friends, as well as a columbarium on the east lawn. These gifts not only serve as beautiful fixtures, but as lasting testimonies to the faith and devotion of those who gave them. Their generosity was not born of obligation, but of a deep trust in God's work through Messiah. Each window, each brick, each sacred space stands as a blessing flowing from the faith of those who've gone before us. The 2010s brought both challenges and triumphs in a changing world. Annual fellowship and service events continued, as well as the beginning of new opportunities and traditions. The church also completed several essential building upgrades, which included remodeling of the activity room, extensive window replacement, and adding air conditioning to parts of the building. Besides physical changes, changes in the church locally and nationally brought Messiah in different directions. And in the 2020s, life as we know it came to a halt with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. Although the decision was made to close church doors to the public, a core group of members and staff, along with the WDAY crew, met on Sunday mornings, socially distant, to continue bringing worship beyond the brick walls of the sanctuary. At a time full of uncertainty and anxiety, the hour of worship offered a beacon of normalcy and hope across the Upper Great Plains. And the people, though physically apart, remained connected in spirit. Once safe to do so, members celebrated the many firsts: first worship services, first opportunities for fellowship, and the resuming of our many beloved traditions. Today, Messiah continues to grow and serve. Young families fill the pews, music and mission flourish, and the future is full of possibilities. This history is not meant to be comprehensive. The number of people who have come and gone over the last 75 years and the ways in which they have shaped Messiah Lutheran Church are innumerable. May this look back in time highlight the humble beginnings from which we were born and the journey that has brought us to where we are today. A living, breathing ministry, still rooted in Christ, still reaching out, still filled with hope. And all of this was possible because a few people said yes. Yes to starting something new. Yes to building together. Yes to trusting God's future even when they couldn't see it. And so today we say, the faith of a few truly is a blessing for many. Thanks be to God for the past, the present, and the promise of what's still to come.